Good morning, rise and shine, Hope Hub. Thankful Thursday. I'm walking on campus this morning, on my campus. As I've said before, if you guys have been following me for a while, this school right here, I used to walk around and say, one day I'm gonna be in this building. I'm gonna be teaching or I'm gonna be a student, but one or the other. And that ended up happening the beginning of this year. And not by design. I was just selected to be part of a program, train the trainer program at this university. So I ended up not only being a student, but actually learning a curriculum by this school, and now I'm training. So look at God, y'all. You never know what happens when you speak things out loud and declare those things and say things that sometimes sound crazy. The universe is listening, God is listening, and you never know what may happen. So today, please, by all means, say your prayers out loud. Speak to God even when you think He's not listening. Speak it out. Speak it out. Declare it. Say these things will happen. I will be victorious. I will be a God-made millionaire, as Kelly says. God-made billionaire. I'm going to have strategy and ideas and visions and things that will happen in my life. So declare those things into your life. Those are things that I've been doing in this season, and I need to do more. Actually, yesterday I was thinking about how I need to dedicate time on a daily basis, even before I go out walking. Maybe wake up half an hour early and pray, because there is power in prayer. And God, it's a wireless communication system with God. So you can speak it out, or you can meditate and you can speak to the universe. You can speak to God and tell Him what you want. Tell your Father what it is you want. And there is power in words. So anyway, that was Wilmington University. I hope you guys are having a terrific day. Please like, follow, share my videos. I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, it's going to give hope to someone and encourage someone and help them have a better day and help them wake up with a positive mindset and go out into their day much happier with their spirits lifted, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do here. So, what am I talking about today? Hi, Judy Jaroge. What am I talking about today? Let me tell y'all. Yesterday, I came home at around like 4:15, around 4:30, and I found my son on my bed. I don't know why they go to my room, to our room, me and my husband, and he put a sleeping bag that I bought for him for Christmas, a really cushy sleeping bag. He had it laid on top of the bed. He was in it because the AC was very high in our bedroom. And he was inside the sleeping bag and watching YouTube videos on luxury. I don't know what it is. Right now he's either watching airline videos about different airlines that are luxury and first class, or yesterday he was watching top 10 hotels in the world, luxurious, and he keeps saying that's gonna be his life when he grows up. So I'm like, more power to you, more power to you. So at some point when I was watching the, what is it called? Burj Khalifa, because he was watching Dubai and the Emirates or whatever, I fell asleep, y'all. And do you know, I have slept from 5 p.m. You hear me? 5 p.m. yesterday up until today, this morning at 5 a.m. Like out, completely out. Like my kids at some point yesterday, like when I fell asleep and I was like, I'm just taking a nap, I'm gonna wake up. They tried to wake me up and I was like, look, I'm not going to Costco. I guess their dad wanted to go to Costco. You guys go to Costco and you'll find me. I'll have made dinner. They came back after dinner. I was still out. And they had gone to Costco, which is a good thing I didn't go with them to Costco, because when they go with their dad, they're in and out of Costco like in an hour. Like they left the house, they were back in an hour. Believe me, if it was me going to Costco with them, we would have been at Costco until 8 p.m. Because I don't know, I think I'm just slow. I look at everything and the sales and all of that. But anyway, do y'all know the power of sleep? Oh my God. And I don't know why I look down on sleep, especially my husband would like to sleep, and I'm just like, why you gotta sleep so much? Why you gotta sleep in? Like it's a bad thing. And I guess that's a message that a lot of us get, where it's like, rise and grind. You ain't got no time for sleep. If anybody listens to Eric Thomas, that's his creed. You only need like 4 hours of sleep. That's it. Let me tell you, 17 hours later, do y'all see me? Don't I look refreshed? I have never slept so long in my life. I woke up and I'm like, wow, the world looks so different. I couldn't even stand. Like I was like walking like this, because I think my brain completely shut down and reset, and things got moved around somehow, and I just got my beauty sleep. It was a beautiful thing. It was an amazingly beautiful thing. So take time to rest, take time to reset, take time to relax, and don't let nobody tell you that sleep ain't a good thing. Sleep in if you need to, because I'm gonna start doing that. But my kids were like, what in the world is going, like, why you sleep? Why are you sleeping now? I did, and I loved it. Okay, so TGIT, thank God it's Thursday. I kept thinking it was Friday for whatever reason, maybe because I slept so long. But it is Thankful Thursday. This morning, you guys, have told you time and time again that I love to listen to inspirational stories. This morning, I was listening to Carol's daughter, the story of Carol's daughter. She's a businesswoman, entrepreneur. If you go to her website, it's beautiful pictures of women wearing African clothing, curly hair, just looking absolutely beautiful. I only know Carol's daughter for their hair products, but I didn't know that Carol's daughter actually is a beauty, like skincare and hair products. So I've never really bought their skincare products. But anyway, this morning I was listening to Lisa Price's story, and I'll try and share some of the nuggets that I got from her story. So Lisa Price is originally from Brooklyn, New York. Actually, I think she still lives in Brooklyn. Her story begins, first of all, she was an assistant writer for The Cosby Show. If you guys know The Cosby Show at all, she was an assistant writer for that amazing sitcom, and for many years. And at some point, because she loved moisturizers and body butters, she was doing this as a side hustle. Like, not as a side hustle, like she would make them for herself. She just said she had an interest in making beauty products, and she was making them for herself. So she would go into bookstores and find books about essential oils and how to mix them and how to come up with something for her use, and using natural products, because she wanted to use natural products. And so she started making them, and then soon she would make excess products, and then she would give this products to friends of the family, cousins, family members, her mom's friends, etc., at church and all of that. And then so they started using these products, and then they started asking for the products, like, hey, can you make me a batch of that body butter or whatever? And then soon it would be like she's giving away these products. And then her mom told her, look, Lisa, you could actually turn this into a business. Maybe think about taking it to the church, this church event that we have coming up on Sunday, and see if anybody buys it for a small price instead of giving away these products, because you are purchasing the ingredients and making those ingredients. So hi Samantha, thank you for saying hi. So we're talking about Lisa Price and Carol's daughter. So she ended up going to a church event and then putting a sign that says natural beauty body products or whatever, and then on the side, because everyone at the church, her mom's friends, knew her as Carol's daughter, just like most of us, we are called, or people call us by our moms because they don't really know all the kids' names. So she called it Carol's daughter, like her mom is Carol. And so essentially that's how it started. And soon after, she started getting more and more customers. She started taking the product to flea markets, but this was still like Saturdays and Sundays. And then in the evenings, she'd be making them in her kitchen on a pan. She would be taking the butters and the oils and putting them on the stovetop and mixing them up, and then putting them in little jars. You know, the jars from baby food, she would recycle those jars and put the products in and label them Carol's daughter hair cream or face cream or whatever. And then she started getting more and more people signing up for our calling and at the flea market buying. And so the story goes that she started getting so many people asking for the product because they would soon run out. So whoever bought it at the flea market or whatever event she was at, they would then be calling and asking her mom, can I come? Can someone send me another bottle of such and such? And so soon she was getting bad phone calls, like basically customers who are like irate. They'd be calling her house and be like, I'm calling and nobody's answering. And she's like, it's not a store. This is my house and I'm free on Saturday at this time. And so if you want this particular product, hopefully I'll have made a batch and you can come and pick it up. But then soon after, she said she watched a show, I think it was an Oprah Winfrey show, and Oprah was interviewing businesswomen, and the businesswomen were saying that in order for you to make a business or for you to become successful as an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you want to do as an entrepreneur, you have to have passion for it. And so that's the number one thing that is your nugget today. If you're someone that is an entrepreneur or on the creative side, someone who's trying to develop or build something, you have to have passion. And not just passion, because sometimes you have a little bit of passion, but on that particular show, what they said was that you have to have enough passion that if someone woke you up from a deep sleep and told you, can you wake up and do whatever it is this thing is, you will quickly get up and do it. Like it's that important to you that you're able to sacrifice your sleep in order for you to do this passion project. And so when she heard that, she was like, man, you know what? I do love my sleep. But if someone called me and they were desperate because they had ashy elbows, okay, she doesn't say that, but she said like the reason her product was so big, especially in the African American community, is because we have melanin on our skin, a lot of melanin, and with darker skin, it dries up more, and when it dries up, then it's dull, or what people call ashy. And so these African American women were her biggest customers, even though that was not her target market. But she said, wow, if someone did call me and say, man, I'm going to this event and I need your product desperately, and they called her at 1 a.m., she would wake up and make that product. And then that's when she realized, like, aha, this could actually be a business, not just a side hustle. So I'm speaking to those people who have side hustles or something in their mind that they absolutely love. Maybe you love to bake, you like to cook, you like to draw, it could be something on the creative, but you have so much passion around it. Have you ever really looked at possibly this idea that you could maybe start, like she started, very organically, very small, handing out her products. She said her first investment, this was in the 80s, was $100. That's all she did. Well, that was her investment in the business, was just $100 to buy the essential oils, the products, make them in her kitchen. The containers were already free because they were recycled baby food products, baby food containers. And then she would just hand these products out to people. And once she started handing them out for free, then all of a sudden there was a demand. And then she started putting a price point to it. And then all of a sudden people were calling her like it was a business. Like, hey, I need such and such product. And she was like, holy moly. And so she says that at some point she quit the Cosby Show. she quit the Cosby Show, and she was getting ready to have a baby, and she knew that whatever her salary was as an assistant writer would end up going towards babysitting, because of the cost of babysitting, which is still the same as it is today, really. And she was like, man, if I have this baby, my whole paycheck will go to babysitting, so I might as well just stay home and make these little products on the side and start selling them, and maybe even take it a notch higher after my maternity leave, or after the baby is a little bit grown, or it's 6 weeks or whatever, and start selling these products to people and doing outreach. And she says basically, in order for her to get the word out, all she needed was her network. Y'all, don't underestimate the power of your network, because when she's asked how did this business grow, it was essentially, the growth was from the Sister Girl network. Because when she would go to these churches and to these places, all these individuals would, her mom's friends would tell other people. And then once she started really doing outreach, she would tell people, tell your friend about my product. Get someone to come with you to my house, and maybe they will like the product. And then all of a sudden the business was burgeoning, because people would be coming in with their friends and they would get half off or whatever. Sisters would tell their sisters, and they would bring their the customers to their house. And so the growth was really organic, and really part of a tribe that understood the power of that particular brand, and they were using it, and they could say good things and review this well. And so she says that at some point her voicemail was filling up every hour and a half. And then additionally, at some point, people in her neighborhood started like calling the police, because they were thinking there was suspicious behavior or activity going on in her house. Can you imagine a house where all these women are showing up all hours of the day, and then coming out with the little bags, little tiny bags? So her neighbors started calling the cops on her, because they were like, what in the world is going on? I think there's some suspicious activity going on. So she says there was a day where a cop, an actual policeman or policewoman, came into her shop because she was investigating, and then she found out that what they were buying was body creams and body butters and perfumes and essential oils. And so there was really nothing to report. But at that point was a critical, like a tipping point for her business, where she decided, look, I need a real brick and mortar store. And she ended up finding a place, a house. And she actually says that this particular brick and mortar store, the person who was renting it out did not really see that business or that location as a place to have beauty products or whatever, because they thought maybe it would be a restaurant or something that would bring more people in. She says she created a gift basket for his wife, the landlord, with all these products, and a letter telling her story and how important and how critical it was that she succeed and have this particular storefront, because it was right around the corner from where she lived. And she says that was what switched it for him. So I don't know, maybe this is a message for someone. Never give up. You never know. And sometimes it's good to appeal to the humanity in others, and also do something unique in order for you to get your idea out to the masses, and do unique outreach, especially when you really want something. And so she did that basket for him. And that was the turning point where he was like, wow, no one has ever done this for me who needed this commercial space. And so I'm willing to talk to you. And so when he met with her, she says he told her, okay, these are the terms. They're really quite basic. He says, he was like, all you need is 4 months of rent as a deposit. And those 4 months of rent as a deposit was she says was $14,000 as a deposit. And she was like, what? What you say? And he said, look, those are the terms. Usually when you take a commercial space, we just can't give it to you month to month. You have to put down a deposit, and it's not 1 month deposit, it's 4 months deposit. And so she says that was when she learned that sometimes you have to sacrifice in order for you to get what it is you want. Sometimes you have to take that leap of faith and say, look, I know that this is something that could possibly fail, but I never want to look back and say I had this opportunity to take this on or start a storefront business, and I never took it because I never really looked outside of the realm of my possibilities and where I could get some money to invest and just try and see if it will work. And so she says, you know, they had 2 little boys. She went and dug into their college fund. At that time, she says it was like $3,500 she had put away for their college. She went to her aunties, her uncles. She went to whoever in her network that could give her or loan her the money, who believed in her. And that's how she got the money to start the storefront business, the Carol's Daughter business. So what propelled her to the next level? She says, essentially it was her network again. So I think this morning my emphasis, or at least what I'm going to keep in my head, is the power of a network. Because the people who are shopping at Carol's Daughter, sometimes, you know, and this happens to, well, I've seen it with other business women, other people that I go to their shops, is that they understand that every customer who's sitting in their chair has a larger network outside of themselves. So how you treat them, right, will dictate whether or not they refer your business and continue to bring new people into the business. And so she understood that, and that's how she grew her business. Because that's my alarm. With every business that came, with every person that came and shopped with her, these people knew other women. They knew other beauty, makeup artists. They knew other people, producers. Everyone is part of a larger demographic or a larger grouping. And these people end up referring you for their service. And so she ended up somehow connected to a beauty artist or makeup artist that knew Mary J. Blige. She got connected with someone who was in the production industry that went to apply for a job in Chicago with the Harpo Company, which is Oprah, and that person dropped her name or mentioned Carol's Daughter as a business that was started at home, because Oprah at that time was looking for business women who were like mom and pop shops, started at home and then grew the brand. And so someone ended up mentioning her to them, and then that's how she got called by the Oprah Winfrey Show to go and tape for a show and get interviewed. And when she actually went to the interview, Oprah apparently looked at the like how you look at what's coming up next in terms of the show, and she saw the words Carol's Daughter, and Oprah was like, Carol's Daughter? Carol's Daughter? I know Carol's Daughter. I've used Carol's Daughter. Of course I know Carol's Daughter. So you never know the power of outreach and the power of your network, and just the importance of keeping those networks and those connections and those relationships, because you never know who knows who. There's degrees of separation between me and you and someone who is, I don't know, the sister of Obama or something like that. So you never know who may drop your name. On the flip side, also, on the flip side, you as an individual also name drop people who you believe are doing a great job, a terrific job. How many of us can look on in terms of our circle and see people who are amazing, people who are talented and gifted, and sometimes those people don't even know that they are. But in this season, one of the things that I'm doing, and very intentionally, is telling people what I see in them, right? And encouraging them and telling them, you know, this is a gift. What you're doing, your artwork, this is a gift. This is something that you could use. Ooh, look at this sign. The gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so tell them this is a gift. This is something that you could grow into a business, right? Or, you know, have you ever thought of doing ABC? Because I see this potential in you. Don't give up on this degree. You know, intentionally bolster, encourage people, but also name drop them. Tell people about them. Tell people, hey, you know who you should connect to is this person, because this person is doing something that's related to what it is you're doing, and I think this person would be great. Like right now, we have the Governor's Awards on Volunteerism and Service coming up in my area. The Governor's Volunteer and Service Awards. How many people do I know that volunteer in the community? Tons of them. But all I have to do is take the time and nominate them and put their name out and say, this person is doing a terrific job, and I think you should consider you should putting down the nomination for them, and you should consider giving the award to them. That's all I have to do. But a lot of us and a lot of people, sometimes you find yourself saying, why should I do that for that person? What's in it for me? It doesn't have to be anything for you, but you never know how that person may remember that you nominated them, or they'll think about you. There's so many people in your network. It doesn't even have to be anything that you get from it. Just put some good out in the world, because karma, it comes back to you. The good that you do will come back to you in some way, shape, or form. So tell people about people who are doing great work in your community, community service, people who have started a business. Instead of looking at them and being like, I think she's, you know what, I don't even know that she's gonna do well. I don't know that that hair she's selling is that great, or whatever it is. Or, I'm just waiting for her to fail. Or if I refer her, what if she doesn't do a good job? Just refer, especially if it's a good friend of yours, they have the good character and ethic. Just do it. Okay, so back to Carol's daughter. Carol's daughter ended up doing phenomenal. As you guys know, you've seen them in Sephora, in Macy's. The other thing that she says is, or at least a nugget that I got from the talk, was that don't wing it. Especially when you're starting a business, I understand that hustle and grind mentality, and you're just kind of taking one step at a time and just keep pushing, taking action even if you're not ready, because people say that all the time. Just do it even if you're not ready. Just do it. Take the next step in faith. But she says at some point, a business gets to the point whereby it's at critical mass, or there's a point at which you have to put structure around that business in order for it to succeed, right? And so that's what she ended up doing, was taking on equity partners, getting investors. She said some of the investors were like Jay-Z, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith, especially after she hit the big time on Oprah and it crashed her site. She took that opportunity to leverage that brand, bring in equity partners, investors, build up infrastructure around that brand to take it to the next level. Because especially when you're looking at people coming in as investors, they ain't going to invest in no little body butters in little baby jars. That's what you do at the beginning of your grind, right? You do that, but then at the point where you're bringing real money onto the table, you gotta look like where you're trying to go. You gotta look like the vision. You gotta look like the people who you're trying to bring in as investors, because they ain't going to invest in no little jars of baby food, right? So she ended up bringing in new equity investors, bringing in new money, and that took her brand to the next level. And I did not know this. She ended up selling the brand to L'Oreal. So Carol's daughter is now a division of L'Oreal. Did you all know that? I had no idea. So I know I've spoken about Carol's daughter, Lisa Price. The one thing I want to tell y'all is that I definitely recommend Carol's daughter products, because those products are the truth.com. They are the truth. The truth. I have a daughter that has had very difficult to manage hair, and I believe it was in 2004 when a friend of mine, actually she's on the Hope Hub, Susie Williams, she recommended the product to me, and I was like, how much is it? What? 24? No, it was $14 for a bottle. I was like, please, girl, please. I ain't trying to buy no $14 product or bottle of moisturizer. It was like I forget the name of it. It was something that you take the detangler. It was a detangler. And I was like, nah, whatever. Let me tell y'all, I finally one day just said, look, whatever, I'm gonna try it, because Susie told me this like 1,500 times that this product was good. Do you know, I went and I got it, and it was a miracle on that hair. Completely detangled her hair, and ever since, that's the one product by Carol's Daughter that I use on my daughter's hair for like the last, how many years is it? 14 years. Okay, so that's the power of referral, the power of a brand. And the last thing that she says is that, which I also said with Bob Johnson when he sold BET, you know, a lot of people come out and they can be very pointed and personal and cruel when a brand that is that's an African American brand sells and is no longer private or mom and shop, or no longer owned by that particular person who was an African American. Because a lot of African Americans, you're like, man, we don't have generational wealth. We really want to keep these lines or these brands within our community. But she says, y'all don't know her story. And a lot of people she actually very pointedly says, a lot of people don't understand what it is to be a businesswoman or a business person. And so when they see the brand, they're proud of having that brand. But when this brand sells, they don't understand that it takes a lot of work to keep these brands afloat. And it takes a lot of work to take a brand not only from her house in Brooklyn, 1-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, to where it was in Sephora and Macy's. But then she needed to take it now from being a U.S. company to a multinational company. And to do that, she couldn't do it in her own power. She needed the power of leverage and the power of L'Oreal and this bigger company to take it to the masses. And so that's how she ended up saying, look, we have to get some kind of acquisition, someone who is willing to take this to the next level. And she says even while she was working in her small space, in her small place, she knew at some point that she needed to sell the brand to take it to the masses. But still, the brand is still Carol's Daughter. She still is the owner and the founder of that company. And what I love, oh my God, I almost forgot. She says just by doing that brand acquisition, it taught her the power of, it taught her to realize that she has value. It taught her to go with her gut in terms of, because I think there's a point in her story, even though they didn't mention, where the company had gone bankrupt. And sometimes you have to take the next step and take a leap of faith. Go with your gut, your instinct in terms of what the environment is showing, the economy is showing, and what it needs to continue, what you need to do in order for the people who are part of that company, who are more than you, the people that company is feeding their families, taking care of their communities. You want to continue to keep that alive. And so she said she understood the value she brought to the table. She understood the power of going with your gut, the power of being a professional businesswoman. What else did she say? And, you know, understanding that she's not losing anything by taking that step. It actually ended up propelling her brand and notoriety of what she had started and founded. So it didn't really take anything away from her. It was just the power of leverage. So I think it's an amazing story. Her mom died in 2003, and she credits her mom for being that person that pushed her and always saw the positive in everything. And I even started thinking about my daughter and the things that she wants to do, little business projects that she's been trying to do, sell cakes. She loves to bake. And Carol talked about how her mom would be the one person, like when she started getting orders and orders and orders coming into her business, she would call her mom and say, oh my God, Mom, I don't know how to fill these orders. I'm only one person. I'm working a job and I'm trying to make these butters at night in order to fill these orders and these invoices and the paperwork. And it's so overwhelming because she was trying to do it in her own strength by herself. And her mom was like, listen, baby, you know, you have to understand that the problem that you shouldn't be looking at the problem of the overwhelm and the paperwork and the orders. You should be thankful. So this goes back to Thankful Thursday. You should be thankful that you have the people. You have the people who are calling for your product, because someone else is looking for customers and cannot find the customers, and that's a bigger problem, right? So someone else is out there looking for the customers, looking for the work, looking for people who can see the value in their product in order for them to buy it. And here you are complaining about filling orders. So she said she would tell her daughter, focus on the positive, the fact that you have all these people who love your product and want to buy it and are calling irate because they can't get the product. And let's sit down with pen and paper and come up with a plan and a strategy for how we're going to fill these orders. And so that's what she said. Her mom would say, let's get a cup of tea, let's sit on the phone, and let's jot down notes and come up with a plan in terms of how we're going to get this product out to the masses. So she really influenced my day today. That's the story of Lisa Price and Carol's daughter on this Thankful Thursday. And my hope lifeline for you guys is the same. Look at your environment and look at what it is you can be thankful for. Instead of saying, oh my God, I don't have XYZ, look at what it is God has given you, the gifts, the talents, the potential. What is it that you have? What is it that He's given to you? What is the gifting, the talent that you have? Instead of looking at why I don't have no customers, I don't have this, nobody sees me. Do what you need to do in order for you to get to where you want to be or where you want to go. My battery's about to die, y'all. Have an amazing Thursday. And yo, get some sleep. Get some sleep and share my videos, all right? Share the Hope Hub. Ooh, name drop the Hope Hub. If I'm giving you hope on a daily basis, let someone know. Tell your friends. Like the page. I'm at 2,999 followers. Who's gonna be the 3,000? Bye. Take care.